central Colorado. A strong spring storm will continue to strengthen across the high plains this afternoon and move slowly east tonight.
Historically high wind speeds today. Footage out of Colorado shows RVs being overturned by the wind. Dust and debris tossed around as wind gusts eclipse 100 miles an hour. That's the equivalent of a Category 2 hurricane.
What is up, flippin' fam? It is good to be back with you guys. We are on our way to the pond right now, and there is insane wind. It is 30 to 40 mile an hour wind now with a constant of 60 to 65 mile an hour wind gusts. That will possibly knock me over, but you know what? It's partially cloudy and really windy. Pre-spawn is here and the bass are munching. So I'm getting excited seeing everyone else's pictures. I haven't caught my first bass of the season yet. I want to try to get on them. Today we're going to use a combo of moving baits. All the bait fish and other things like that are going to be blown into the windy corner. So we're going to be targeting wind-blown corners with shad-style baits, things of the sort, and fishing against wind as much as possible. That's going to be kind of hard with the bait cast in the wind, but we're going to do our best, and I'll teach you guys a little bit of how I set those reels up for that. Let's go. So I only grabbed one rod for this adventure on this pond, and it was the spinnerbait. We had some rain earlier and lots of high wind today, which would make cloudy water. Oh look, a jig. Bam. Look at that, found a jig. This is something that's super cool. This is a freshwater mussel. He's alive. This came out of a pond here, literally in the middle of a pond right now. These guys produce their eggs, I guess you could say, through other bass. It's pretty neat. Oh, is this one alive? Oh, this one's dead. So this one's just a wash up. As you guys can see, it's beautiful in there. I have a few of these huge ones bigger than my hand at home, but they squirt their, I guess you could say, semen. They squirt their semen into the bass, which cling onto the lungs, which would be the gills for the bass, and then eventually pop out, and out comes freshwater mussels. Pretty neat thing. You can find them all over town here in Colorado. You can just wash the little guy out. It's a little bit of water from the pond that you found him at. It's real pretty inside. Beautiful freshwater mussel. All right guys, we are almost to spot number 2. At spot number 1, I had one bite and I didn't realize what was going on because I was in the middle of not paying attention like an idiot, but definitely some muddy water from the rain this morning, and the wind is intense. Oh my god, it's intense. But let's continue on. I'm not gonna have any doubts with today. Let's see what we can get. Thanks for joining. We have made it to spot number 2. This one is just a little irrigational pond. It's basically water flow from the local ponds and rivers, and that is one of my favorite things to fish. I haven't hit this one in a long time. The ponds I'm fishing today are super duper public. So, when I was talking with you guys earlier about this pond being an irrigational pond, I think one of my favorite parts about it is, as you guys can see currently, while everything else in town that I've been fishing has been low, this pond in particular is actually right where it's supposed to be. So with that being said, any additional water it's receiving from the rains is going to muddy it up a little bit and get that bite going. The wind is blowing everything into that end of the canal over there, which would be just the end of the pond in this situation. That's where all the bait fish and little tiny guys that can't fight against the wind are going to get blown against. And the bass will actually face the opposite direction against the wind so that they can basically just open their mouth and nom on these bait fish that are coming in as they get blown into their face. Therefore, using minimal effort and energy as possible while getting the most amount of meals before this pre-spawn. One of my #1 rules this time of year is keep moving. Keep a move on, keep going. If you're not moving, you're not gonna find the fish. Whether it's this pond, a different pond, 5 ponds in, you gotta keep moving until you can find the fish and then start targeting in on what exactly they're eating. Something cool, here's a little dead shad inside the water. It's just, again, very reassuring that this spot is still gonna have some good fish in it. If there's 14-inch shad, there should be some pretty good bass. There's another one right there, decaying. Again, making me more confident in my presentation as I throw this spinnerbait. Gives me more confidence seeing big, nice, shiny shad. What I'm actually seeing here, if you guys can see this, is at the end of the canal here, there's a pile of cattails and rocks next to it. I don't know if you guys can quite see the rocks. I'm sure you can see the cattails. That makes me happy because, again, all the little bait fish and stuff are going to get blown right into that, and that's what bass love. Whether it's been hot or cold or super back and forth, the fish have 2 things on the mind right now. That's eating and spawning. So make sure to keep that in mind. They will eat. Cold fronts are a good thing this time of year. Here's a dead little crappie. Tiny little guy. Not quite sure what he died from. Could have been choking on something, or someone might have caught him and accidentally gave him a little bit too much of a gill yank. Could have been all sorts of things. He might have even just been washed up from another irrigational flow, and that's what came out of it, was a dead crappie. So these irrigational ponds are interesting and some of my favorite. This is a big shad. Look at that. That's just the head, you guys. It's the size of my hand already. That's just the head. It's dead, obviously, probably from the winter freeze. It was probably frozen. But the point being is that these little irrigational ditch ponds can hide some big bass because of these guys. Remember that. Spot number 2 did not work out, so now I'm at spot number 3. You guys might be a little bit more familiar with this spot from prior videos. Usually not too much of a spinnerbait spot, but we'll see what happens. Let's see what we can get. Yes. Get the darn thing. It's not rusted out, so it looks like it's pretty new. It's a Berkeley Elite Top 60. Wrong time of year for topwater unless they're sunbathing on the shallow, but we'll keep it. We are at our 4th and final spot. I have not been to this spot in quite a while. Jory reminded me of this place, and it's got quite surprises in here for multiple different species. Jory, glad you found this spot. I don't know if you've known about it for long. Really glad you found it. It's a great little hidden gem. Other than that, if you guys want to check out Jory's recent video, absolutely slaying this spot, make sure to look in the description for the link to that. He got on it here, and I believe he even broke his PB, which congratulations, Jory. So this spot's super small. We're going to power fish it with 2 different lures and get out of here if we don't get anything. Let's see what happens. Started dying. Hopefully I can get something before the GoPro dies, guys. Oh, I think there was actually one following right there. Surprisingly enough. Can you look yet? Oh, that's alright. Okay, you got the right idea. It's that time of year for sure. Yeah. Yeah, just trying to get some of the largies out of here. Yeah. They're in here. Yeah. That's alright. It's as long as it stays full, right? That's pretty much my main goal. Yeah, you fish here a lot? Oh, okay, alright. Well, there you go. It makes it easy for you, right? Hell yeah. Heck yeah. That's what's up. Have you been here at all this year? Nice. Nice. Heck yeah, man. Well, I don't have too much longer before I gotta get home with the lady and baby. But it was nice to meet you. What's your name?
Dustin.
Dustin? Heck yeah, Dustin. My name's Sam. I'll be seeing you around on the water. If you want, you'll probably end up on YouTube if that's okay. I do make a lot of videos around here. If you want to check them out, they're all here in Greeley and stuff. There's probably a lot of ponds you'll recognize. Channel. But yeah, man, they're all around here, I think. Right? You want me to help you adjust it a little bit?
Oh, no, I got it.
Oh, okay. Heck, is that your only one for that?
Yeah.
Well, hell, here. What's your phone number, man? I got some rods for you.
What's my grandma's phone number?
That's all right. What we got?
970-222-7288.
Dustin, right?
Yeah.
All right, my man. I'm gonna hit up your grandma. I got some stuff at home I can give to you. All right?
But it's just hard to cast your lures.
Yeah, sometimes it can be. You know, if you adjust the brake systems in it, it helps it a little bit. Makes it a little easier.
Really?
Yeah. You want me to show you real quick?
Yeah.
Let's see here. So what I like to do is I'll let this off, and you've got it pretty much right where it needs to be until it starts going. And then what you've got here is your little brake system. Yours is a magnetic brake system.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this one is too. So that makes it a little easier. I recommend, with it being like that right now, where it's at, maybe put it up only about 4 clicks, 6 max. And that should be a little bit easier for you. Just making sure that it's got that. But that should be able to cast a little bit easier. It was probably, with how high the brakes were, it seemed like it might have been just engaging a little bit too hard on you. So making it harder. That's something I had to get really good at, was learning how to adjust brake systems. See what we got for you, bud. I just grab what I need depending on the trip I'm taking. Yeah, let's see here.
Jesus Christ, those are big lures.
We'll give you.
I love those ones too.
Heck yeah, here's a Guggen Squad one. There you are, my man. That one's a suspending one. And I believe it's written on the top of it how deep it dives and stuff.
Oh, really?
Somewhere on it. Let's see here. On the bottom, 4 to 6 feet, and that's suspense too. With those, so suspending means that it actually slowly falls, and it doesn't sink and it doesn't float. It suspends and then comes into the middle. And yeah, but it doesn't even. It won't, even if you leave it out there for 10 minutes, it'll still only stay in the middle. It doesn't sink all the way. It's kind of cool. So that means suspended. And those ones are my favorite for when the fish aren't on the bottom and they're not on the top. Sometimes they're on the bottom. So what you'll do with that one is you'll cast it out, give it about 3 reels just to get it down, and then from there, go like twitch, twitch, and then count to 5, second pause, twitch, 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 and kind of do your thing. Thank you all for staying tuned today. We didn't catch any fish, but it was still an awesome adventure and a very interesting experience doing some bass fishing in 60-mile-an-hour wind. We just dropped Mr. Dustin off at home. Awesome kid. Awesome kid. I'm definitely gonna get Dustin some fishing stuff. He doesn't have a lot of stuff. He's trying to learn how to use a bait cast. He has ambition, which is another props to Dustin. Guys, this kid is 12 years old. He knows how to use a bait cast, which some 12-year-olds do. Not a lot here in Colorado. And he's out here alone in shorts, fishing his local pond in 60-mile-an-hour winds. I thought I was cool. I was the only dude I saw out all day. And this 12-year-old kid is out here doing it too. Props to you, Dustin. Other than that, I appreciate all of you in the Flippin' fam. Let's make sure to keep going and let's see what happens this season.